Hello, my amazing friends. I hope you're doing well. This is not an ordinary story. This is a tale of love, written in sacrifice and silence, where two powerful loves stand face to face. On one side is the love of a little daughter, waiting for her father to come home on her birthday. On the other side is the love for the homeland, which asks its protector for everything he has. This is not a story of war. This is not a story of weapons. This is the story of a father's promise and a soldier's duty. It is the story of a heart that beats for home and gives itself for the nation. Before we continue, if this story touches your heart, please like this video, so this sacrifice is never forgotten. And if you respect the love of a father and the duty of a soldier, please subscribe to this channel. Every subscribe helps keep these stories alive. United States Red Heart. It breathes quietly in the early mornings of America. In the stillness before the sun rises. In the soft flutter of a flag against the sky. In the footsteps of soldiers walking toward duty while the rest of the nation sleeps. The United States Army is not just a force of weapons and uniforms. It is a family of hearts trained to stand firm when the world shakes. It is the reason children sleep peacefully, unaware of how close danger truly is. It is sacrifice wrapped in discipline, courage wrapped in humility. Staff Sergeant Daniel Carter understood this truth long before he ever held a rifle. To him, the Army was not a job, it was a calling. He grew up in a small town where flags hung on porches and veterans were greeted with respect. As a child, he would stop and stare whenever he saw soldiers in uniform, their posture straight, their eyes steady. Something about them spoke without words, "We are here so you can live freely." Daniel joined the Army at 20. Not because he wanted glory. Not because he loved war. But because he loved America. Years later, Daniel was a husband. A father. A protector in more ways than one. His daughter Emily was 6 years old, curly brown hair, wide curious eyes, and a laugh that could break through even the heaviest silence. She loved birthdays, especially her own. She had already planned everything months in advance: balloons, cake, candles, and a big hug from her daddy. One night, just weeks before deployment, Daniel tucked Emily into bed. "Daddy," she asked softly, "will you be home for my birthday?" Daniel paused. He had learned in the Army to face danger without fear, but no battlefield had ever frightened him like that simple question. He smiled anyway. He always smiled for her. "I promise," he said gently, kissing her forehead. "I'll be home. I wouldn't miss it for the world." Emily wrapped her small arms around his neck. "Promise forever?" "Forever," Daniel replied. Soldiers are trained to keep their word. They live by honor. And Daniel meant every syllable. Deployment came quietly. There were no parades. No dramatic music. Just tearful goodbyes and silent strength. At the airport, Emily clung to Daniel's leg. "Don't forget my birthday," she said. "How could I?" he replied, kneeling to her level. "I already know what cake you want." "Chocolate," she giggled. He laughed, one last time, before standing and walking away. Emily waved until he disappeared. She didn't know it then, but that wave would live in her memory forever. The desert was unforgiving. Heat pressed down like a weight. Days blurred into nights. The enemy was unseen, unpredictable. Daniel led his unit with calm authority. He checked on his men, shared jokes when possible, and carried photographs of his family in his pocket, especially one of Emily wearing a birthday crown. Every night, he wrote messages he couldn't always send. "Daddy loves you. Be good for Mommy. I'll be home soon." The Army had trained him for combat, but nothing could train a man for missing his child's laughter. Still, he believed in the mission. He believed in protecting lives, both American and innocent civilians. He believed that standing between danger and home mattered. That belief is what makes the U.S. Army more than an institution. It makes it a promise. It happened on a patrol that was supposed to be routine. A quiet road. Clear skies. No warning. The explosion came without mercy. Chaos followed, smoke, dust, shouting. Daniel acted on instinct, pulling one of his men to safety. There was no time to think. Only time to act. When the smoke cleared, the mission was over, but so was Daniel's life. He never felt fear. He never cried out. He died as he lived. Protecting others. Back home, Emily was counting days. 3 days until her birthday. She had drawn pictures for her dad, stick figures holding hands beneath a flag. Then came the knock. 2 soldiers stood on the porch. Their uniforms were perfect. Their faces were not. Emily's mother knew before a word was spoken. Some promises are too heavy for words. The funeral was filled with silence. The flag was folded with precision, 13 folds, each one heavy with meaning. When it was placed into Emily's mother's hands, she could barely breathe. Emily watched quietly. "Where's Daddy?" she whispered. No one answered. Because how do you explain to a child that her father kept his promise in the only way a soldier could, by giving his life for others? The coffin arrived. That was the only thing that came home. Emily's birthday came anyway. The cake was chocolate. The candles were lit. There was one extra chair at the table. Emily stared at the door. "He's late," she said. Her mother pulled her close, tears falling silently. "No, sweetheart," she whispered. "He's home, just not the way we hoped." Emily placed a slice of cake beside a framed photo of her father. "I saved him the first piece," she said. That night, she slept holding his folded flag. Years passed. Emily grew older, stronger. She learned what her father had done. She learned what the army truly meant. It meant that millions could live freely because a few were willing to stand in harm's way. It meant that love for country is not loud, it is steady, patient, and brave. Daniel Carter's name was etched into stone. But his legacy lived on, in every salute, every flag, every soldier who stepped forward. America does not forget its fallen. Every Memorial Day. Every flag lowered. Every moment of silence. The nation remembers. Because the U.S. Army is built on the blood, sweat, and love of people like Daniel, men and women who promised to protect, even if it cost them everything. America is not just land. America is the people who protect it. The U.S. Army is not just a uniform. It is a heartbeat of sacrifice. Some promises are never kept the way we hope. But they are honored forever. America loves its soldiers. And its soldiers love America. Enough to give their tomorrow so we can have today. United States broken heart. Before you leave this video, please listen to me for a moment. I lost my father because he loved his country. If his story touched your heart, please like this video, so others can feel it too. And if you respect soldiers like my dad, please subscribe to this channel. It helps keep their sacrifices alive. United States Red Heart.